One of the biggest dust storms we've had in recent history was in 2009 in September. It is a very large dust storm which began in the Lake Eyre Basin and parts of South Australia and blew all through New South Wales and then right off the coast. On that day, it blew 2.5 million tonnes of soil. Put that in perspective, take some large semi-trailers, put them nose to tail, fill them with dirt. They would go all the way to Brisbane from Sydney and then back to Newcastle. And then if I said drive into the ocean, that's how much soil we lost on that day, 2.5 million tonnes. It closed the Sydney airport, it closed the Sydney Harbour Tunnel. People were advised not to go outdoors because of the high dust levels. And as a result of that, we're able to put a costing on that event, and that cost the New South Wales economy, that one dust storm cost $300 million in 24 hours. Okay, so one of the things that has changed over the years is that the dust storms are getting less. And the reason they're getting less has been the massive change in land management activity. How we use tractors, how we use spray rigs, how we use sheep in paddocks make a huge difference to the amount of ground cover that's left behind. Now the stubble behind me, that you see, is the ground's protection. When we have that on the ground, the dust doesn't blow.
It is very important to try and keep the topsoil in place, and if that is lost by erosion, be it wind or water, then it's very difficult to reclaim.
Having these new farming systems with different rotations and different crops makes the soil a lot healthier.
Our sowing method is what's known as direct drill. So basically it's a knife point tine that goes into the ground to minimise the structural impact that you have on the soil.
Went over to direct drilling in around about 1996 and it's been a lot better way of doing it.
Well, here on Wamburra we've always tried to leave the property in a better condition for each new generation. Near here we've been cropping the same paddocks that have been cropped by the family for over 100 years, and they're still producing well. The soil's in good condition, and that's what we're trying to achieve, and have good ground cover.
These days our cropping rotation is year on, year off. A lot of that's to do with the stock side of things. A lot of it's to do with just general looking after the ground pretty much. We like to keep a bit of a cover on it.
So what we've found is really important in a sustainable system is to have a diversity of crop types. So by introducing the pulses, we're effectively growing a crop that's commercially viable, but we're also growing a lot of nutrition for the next cereal crop.
So DustWatch is a project which involves the community, including our farmers, in monitoring the wind erosion across the landscape. And what we've seen over the years is a massive change in land management practices. Okay, the DustWatch program has a mixture of scientists, and we work with people from CSIRO, NASA and other places like that. But the most important people are actually our citizen scientists. They're the people who look after the instruments. Very smoky day, very clean air day, hardly any particles at all. But look at this one, a very dusty day.
Your soil management will be better, you're not getting the dust storm, they break your heart a bit.
As farmers, we're trying to make a living off the land. Now to do that, we need resilient landscapes, and to achieve that, we need a farming system that is sustainable. So both profit-wise and environmentally and ecologically. And so we're really trying to strike that balance, and I think at this stage, we're doing a good job of that.
The benefits for us who live in urban areas are as the dust that used to blow out of these paddocks no longer travels 1,000 kilometres to the east. And so we don't have those bad air quality days as often as we used to.